Hey, what's up, good people? Listen, man, uh, this week has been epic for me. I can't wait to tell you guys all about, man, all that I learned this week, all that I've been through. I was in a coaching program slash challenge this week, and man, it really changed. It changed my mindset. It changed my work ethic. It changed the way that I see life, and it even changed. Watch this, my relationship with God's word. I was gonna say my relationship with God, but not so much. My relationship with God's word. And so I was in a, some of you may know because I may have emailed you, some of you, about my coach or the guy that I was in the challenge with, Myron Golden. Amazing brother. Like just amazing, right? So up in the next few days or so, I'm going to put together some things to share with you guys that I learned from that. It's going to blow your mind. Like some of the concepts that I learned. You know, Dr. Rick Marks says when I first met him, one of the main one of the most impactful things that he said was really simple. But he said, "You don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. You know what you know. You know what you don't know. Like I know I don't know how to fly a plane. I know I don't know a whole lot about physics or calculus. I know I don't want to know a whole lot about calculus, but I don't know what I don't know, right? And to understand that, like, you guys never knew I existed before you met me. You didn't know that you didn't know me before you met me, or before you saw me, or before you heard me. You didn't know. That gap between what you know you don't know, and what you don't know that you don't know is that's where a coach fits, right in that space. We're not designed to do life alone, right? So uh, you need a coach just like I need a coach. All of us need coaches. And I think about when I was growing up, my favorite player obviously was Michael Jordan. When I say obviously, because he's the best player that ever played a game. I'm not going to argue with you about that. The best player to ever play basketball outside of me, but no one got to see me, so we're going to go with Michael Jordan. But the thing is, Michael Jordan did not win any championships until he got the right coach. His ability was already top notch, so he didn't need more ability, but he did need better coaching. And the coach came in and tweaked what he tweaked. As a matter of fact, I have a book on not on coaching, but about the guy who trained Michael Jordan. He also trained Kobe Bryant, and he talks about the ways that he's the one that helped Mike take his game to the next level. As a matter of fact, uh, I'm gonna get his name. That's what I'm gonna make my. I'll tell you guys about him next time. Why am I talking about coaching? Because of what I just went through. Really, this video is not about that. I'm gonna get to my content in a second, but just because of how impactful this whole process was. Now I coach, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised that like this was as impactful as it was. But I guess for me, so I know coaching works. Most folk don't know how well coaching works and how beneficial it is. You know, with everyone being a coach these days, it's a fad, right? But the people who are just doing it to get money or just jumping in, well, I'm gonna be a coach, don't really know how to coach or don't know anything, that'll fade out. But coaching works, right? But the thing that impacted me this week, it's one thing when you're on the giving end and you're changing people's lives, but it's a whole nother thing when it happens to you. And for me, I'll be honest, everybody can't coach me. Now, when I say that, I don't mean everybody can't coach me because I'm so deep. I don't mean that. And you don't have to be deep or not deep to be coached. I'm saying everybody can't coach me because of like my standard, where I am, what I believe, what I think, right? It's just that Myron Golden was so, it seems so puzzle piece like he fit in the space where I needed a coach like never before, and it was weird. And so he actually helped me over this week increase my coaching also. And so now my clients are going to be getting even better value. By the way, I have a coaching offer that's on sale right now. I'm creating a new offer right now. My coaching currently costs is $49.97. Okay, basically $5,000. That's what it costs to work with me, right? To do coaching with me. But I'm creating another coaching program that's going to be twice that, because it's going to provide 10 times the value of what I have now. All of that is because of my coach. Does that make sense? And when I say my coach, let me be clear, because I'm not big on false advertising, right? Myron Golden is a coach. I did a program with him this week, and he coached me and a whole bunch of other folk, but he's not my actual coach. Like, I can't pick up the phone and call him right now, right? But we're working it out where he is going to be my coach, because what he has, I need. And here's the thing: what you have, I need. What you have, I need. I meant to say, what I have, you need. Now, if you don't need it, then obviously I'm not talking to you, right? So, but yeah, I want you to embrace the idea of coaching. Listen, if you don't work with me, like I tell my clients in the therapy room, when we do the consultation, I tell them all the time. Well, I don't tell them all the time, but the clients who are on the fence, but it's obvious you cannot navigate these waters by yourself, I tell them, listen, if my price is too high, or you don't like my personality, whatever the case, if you don't do work with me, do work with someone, because you cannot do this on your own. Far too often, those people leave the office, and then in 6 months, they come back. And then sometimes when they come back, the price is higher. So embrace the idea of coaching, right? Okay, now let me get to my content. And if you want to sign up for my coaching, go to cliftonbrantley.com. And is it on there actually? I need to look and see if I've updated it. But anyway, cliftonbrantley.com, scroll down and you'll see it. So let me tell you about 5 ways to fight fair, 5 ways to handle conflict better, 5 ways that you can increase the connection in your relationship. Now, there are way more than 5 ways. I'm just giving you 5. I'm just giving you 5 today. But it's there's a lot, right? As a matter of fact, if you are one of those people who struggle, one of those couples who struggles in your marriage consistently, and you can't seem to stop having this same fight over and over, or every time you guys try to have a discussion, it always ends up in an argument, you need my course called Rules of Engagement. It's about conflict resolution. It is a very detailed course on how to handle conflict more effectively, so that you can build intimacy and take your marriage or your relationship from survival to thrival. I say thrival. In my book, I call it, I say my book is your thrival guide, right? But it takes your marriage or relationship from the survive neighborhood to the thrive neighborhood. You get skills. So that's the reason when people go to therapy. Did you know that the overwhelming majority, I think like 63% of folk who go to therapy actually end up divorcing? Why is that? Because most therapists, when you go to therapy, all you do is talk about the problems. Like, and that's what I used to do too, because that's pretty much what they teach you in school. But when you actually teach people how to do the thing that you're telling them they need to do, so when you focus on solutions and fixing problems, you have better results. And so this course will give you actual skills to put in place to change your marriage. It'll talk about the mindset that you have to put the skills in place to do the skills so that you can have the results that you're looking for. All that's in the course. Um, there's a link in the description to get that course. The course right now is on sale. So I did this conflict resolution course back in 2020. I recently revamped the whole thing. And so I added a lot more content. I added the skills piece, and I added worksheets. I added a lot of stuff, right? And so I'm relaunching that course on September the 1st, which is next Thursday. Okay? It's going live next Thursday. Today it went on pre-sale. Okay? So the course is $997. Okay? $997. But the pre-sale price is $597. Yeah. So between now and next Thursday, if you want to get the course, you can get it for $597 as opposed to $997. But, either way, it will change your life. Okay? All right, now let's talk about these 5 ways. So I'm gonna go through these kind of quick. So here's the first one. Remember, let me just tell you how I prepare content also. When I most of the time, unless I'm doing if I'm doing something specific for individuals or specific for people who are not married, most of my content, when I'm talking about relationships, I tend to focus on married folk, but it is applicable to all relationships, unless I'm talking about sex or something like that, right? But it's applicable to all relationships. Okay. So now, here's the first thing. Remember that you love each other. When you get in a conflict, remember this is not your enemy. This is your friend. This is your partner. This is supposed to be your ride or die, so to speak, right? But watch this. If you don't love them anymore, like you're in a relationship, but I don't love them anymore. Like the love is gone. We're trying to find a way to get it back. So we're not broken up, but the love is not there. Okay. So then remember they're a human being who deserves your respect. All right. That's still the first point. Remember that you love each other, or remember that they're a human being and they deserve your respect. Why do you want to do that? Because too often when we're having conflict, we talk to them as if they're a stranger. Why do we do that? Because we're running on emotions. You've allowed yourself to get caught up in your emotions, and now you guys are disrespecting each other, and it just escalates, right? And the thing is, you both are probably nice people when you're not angry. But when you get angry, there's a switch that flips, and now you're just vicious, and you're vicious with whoever. There's a reason for that. I talk about it in the course. But what you need to know is that's destructive. Don't forget, we love each other. Okay? Here's number 2. When you guys are having a conflict, you're in the heat of a conflict. And when I teach conflict resolution, there actually is no heat. All right? I teach you how to take the heat out the conflict. But anyway, in the heat of conflict, do not hit below the belt. Don't do that. Don't do that. Did you know, if you're in a relationship, you cannot hurt your partner without hurting the relationship that you are a part of, which means hurting them hurts you. Don't hit below the belt. What do I mean by hit below the belt? Don't say things that you know would intentionally hurt them. When you are having a heated discussion, one of you say something that the other person thinks is incorrect or off the wall, you have to be mature enough to not react to that or respond to that in the moment. Hold it, put it in your pocket, and keep moving forward. Or you need to know how to de-escalate so that they don't continue to be disrespectful. Because here's the thing. When your partner's being disrespectful, let's say you guys are in a discussion and they're being disrespectful and you're not. You're life partners. You're supposed to help each other do life better, right? So instead of you attacking them back, how about you help them get out of that nasty place and talk to you more respectfully? And what I tell my clients, the reason why you want to do that is because when your partner is disrespecting you, they are out of line with God. And because you love them, you don't want them to be out of line with God. So you help them get back on the right track, not just so you're good, but so they're good with God. Because remember, love is not about you. Love is about the person you're loving. Okay. Pride is about you. Pride is about my needs, my wants, my hurts, my desires. You can't walk in love and pride at the same time. You're going to do one or the other. So, um, focus on not hitting below the belt. Don't say things that you don't mean. Don't say things that you know is going to get under their skin or that's going to hurt them. Don't say things just for a reaction. That is immature. That's childish. Don't do that. Okay. All right. So now here's number 3, and I like number 3. This is probably one of the first things I started telling folk when I first became a counselor, and they had kids. Number 3 is this: make sure that you make up in front of the children. Why do I say that? Because what I've noticed is people are not disciplined enough to not fight in front of the children. But actually, I tell folk, don't shelter the children from your arguing and from your disagreements. Why do I say that? Because number one, I'm already coaching you to be respectful. So even if you're having a disagreement, it's respectful. Ain't no yelling. You're not hitting each other, right? So you can disagree, even if you get a little heated in front of the children. But if you do that, make sure that you make up in front of the children. Why? Because we do relationships from the cradle to the grave, right? Life is all about relationships. That's all it's about. Without relationships, life is not life. But how your children learn how to do life is by watching you, not by what you tell them, but by what you show them. So when you model for them repair, apologizing, making up, you're giving them an accurate picture of what human relationships look like. Because sometimes we do bump heads, but also we make up and we show love. So when you make up in front of your children, you got to do it in a way. Sometimes you got to be dramatic. Why? Because you're teaching. Like you may actually make up behind closed doors, but in front of the children, you make up. As a matter of fact, if you feel like if you're not good at making up, then I would suggest you do that. So when you get in front of the children, it's kind of dramatic. Like you're playing a role and you guys are kind of acting this thing out, so to speak, where you are apologizing, making up, validating feelings in front of the children. Why? So they'll learn how to do that. And they'll learn that that's normal. You don't want your children believing that being yelled at is normal, being disrespected is normal. Because here's the thing. If they see that and it doesn't matter how much you tell them something different, they're going to do what they see. Not only are they going to do what they see, they're going to allow what they see. Like, brothers, do you want to set your daughter up for being yelled at by a man? Do you want do you guys want your son cowering down to women or yelling at women? Whatever it is. They're watching you. Children have they got these little recorders in their mind. They just constantly recording. Record. And here's the danger of them always recording everything. They don't have the ability to determine what they're seeing and hearing means. They cannot process it at the level that you can. You got to realize y'all live in 2 different worlds. Your children don't know nothing about the world that you live in. And you act like you forgot how it is to live in theirs. All right. So make up in front of the kids. Number four, don't have serious discussions when one of you, especially if not as both of you, but don't have serious discussions if one of you has been drinking. If alcohol is involved, let's say I went to a party or had some wine at home, whatever the case, if alcohol is involved, do not do not, I can't emphasize this enough, do not try to have serious discussions when alcohol is involved. Notice I did not say when you're drunk, because things can spin out of control before you're drunk. And the thing is, what I've learned in my practice, uh, being drunk sometimes is subjective. Some folk don't think they're drunk. I'm not drunk. Okay, well, whatever you are, the crazy that's coming out of you right now, I don't want that. Right? So uh, don't try to have discussions when you've been drinking. That's dangerous. I am always surprised. I am surprised at how many people come into my office, and I'm talking about current clients. So like we're doing work, and then they come in and they tell me that they had a big fight. Maybe they was on vacation, or went to a relative's house, and they tell me how like they had the biggest fight they ever had, and it was so disrespectful, and this person did this and that person did that, and then it kept escalating. And I'm trying to walk them through it, and then later on it comes up, well, he had been drinking, you know or we both had been drinking. And I'm like, wait, I need a 20-second timeout. What are you talking about? So everything I was just telling y'all is invalid. Y'all got to tell me that up front. So that changes everything. But the thing that surprises me is how often that happens. I've had people come to me for therapy in the consultation, and they say, we fight all the time, or we're good, but when we fight, it gets out of control. Okay, but then they'll follow that up with, but it only gets out of control when we drink. Why'd y'all come see me? I'm not free, and I'm not cheap. You're gonna pay me to tell you to stop drinking? Because if that's your only issue, that's all I'm gonna tell you. Stop drinking. And I don't mean, I hope I don't sound condescending. I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm not trying to, be contemptuous. But I I just don't understand that. Like, if if every time you punch a wall, you hurt your hand, stop punching walls. If every time you drive down this street, you get a flat tire, stop driving down that street. I don't get it. But that's one of my 5. Do not have serious discussions when you've been drinking alcohol. Either one or both of you. Just don't do it. Just stay away from it. Even if you feel like, because people will trick themselves. You think that you can handle your alcohol in a way that you can't. You think you're fine, but the destruction that you done left all around you says that you're not fine. Okay, so don't do that. Here's number 5. Now, these are not in any kind of hierarchy. I cannot say that word. They're not in they're not in any kind of order, from like least to greatest or greatest to least. I'm just giving them to you because, like I said, there's way more than 5. But here's the last one. When you have conflict, and I'm really talking about when you like things are not good in the marriage, but we want to address it. Like this is a planned talk, right? But even if it's not planned, even if it's not planned, you want to do this. Address one issue at a time. Okay? Do not try to address 2, 3, 4, 5 issues. One issue at a time. What happens is a lot of times we start to have discussions, and then somebody will say a word or a phrase that the other person doesn't agree with, right? And then that person will hop onto that train, attach to those words, hop on that train, and now they're gone. So when they start talking about this, then this person comes over here and start talking about this. But then when they say a word that takes, then we jump on that train. Next thing you know, we're way far from the original issue. Now we're just fighting and tearing up the house, right? Arguing and doing whatever, fussing. And the issue don't get resolved because we've been left. We don't even know what we're arguing about. Too many times couples come in and say, man, we had a big fight. And I say, okay, tell me about it. And they'd be like, what were we fighting about? I don't even know what it was. But wait a minute. Are you telling me, are you saying, sir and ma'am, that you guys created a whole bunch of injuries, like real injuries, not just scrapes, like, and I'm not talking about real scrapes, right? I do not condone, believe in, or counsel folk who, when there's physical violence, like that's not I don't do that. I don't condone that. So I'm using analogies when I say scrapes and whatever. So let me find something else because I don't want to confuse nobody. But when you are having a discussion and it's serious, you got all these. Are you saying that you've injured each other to the point to where there are wounds, internal wounds, but you don't even know. You can't remember what y'all was fighting about? That's one or two things. Either what you were fighting about was not a big issue, so you guys were being immature, right? Or you got stuck on the crazy train, jumping from not even topic. You don't even be changing topics like you're fighting about money, and then you start fighting about something else. It's not even a real topic. It's just a thing, like what someone said or what someone did, right? It's not another topic, but it's not money either, right? Where we started. Address one topic at a time, one issue at a time. That's most effective. If you got 30 issues, I'm sorry. Like, you didn't get those 30 overnight. You're not finna address all of them in one night. Try it. You will reap you will reap bad results. I was gonna say you will reap the benefits of divorce, but that oxymoron didn't fit to me, so I didn't say it. But I ain't had nothing else to go there because that's what was in my mind. But anyway, address one issue at a time. Okay, so hope these was helpful for you. More stuff like that, and man, it's way more than that in the course. But I strongly encourage you, if you find yourself always on the crazy train, right? If you find yourself always being defensive, or if you find yourself never resolving anything, like so resolving conflict. Let me tell you what that is, right quick. Resolving conflict means, excuse me, we had a conflict. It's resolved, meaning we don't have that conflict anymore. We have a better understanding of each other. Now, we may not agree after the conflict, but we do understand. And it's resolved, meaning we don't have to unpack this again because there's understanding around it, right? Conflict that's unresolved keeps coming up. And I tell couples, when things keep coming up, it's because it's not resolved. Now, you may have thought you resolved it, but the fact that it's coming up again means that it's not. And watch this. Even if y'all talk and y'all resolve it, supposedly, it may be resolved with us. But when I step away from it, I realize it's not resolved in me. So then, if it's not resolved in me and I'm a part of us, it ain't resolved in us. So guess what? We got to try to do that again. Now, my goal is to once you resolve it, once the skills I'm going to give you, once you resolve it, it's resolved. There's no, we're not revisiting that again. And I'm not, so let me be clear. I'm not saying we won't ever revisit the same topics, but we won't revisit the same topics in the same way once it's resolved. Does that make sense? I hope so. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this content. Definitely, if you want that course, get it. I thought about putting a limit on it as far as, folk buying it, because I didn't want to. I'm sorry. My thoughts are getting confused. That's when I was going to do a portion of it live. I was going to limit how many people that I, take through the course live at once. But I'm sorry, I didn't even decide to do that. So never mind all of that. Okay, that's irrelevant. But yeah, get the course and let me know how you like it. Well, it launches September 1st. Okay, so but you can pre-order it today for $597. That's $400 off. Right? I know you want to save $400. Whether you want to save $400 or not, you want to save the headache of not knowing how to resolve conflict. Because here's the reality. Well, let me ask you. I don't want to assume. Let me ask you. Ask you. Trying to enunciate, right? Um, who taught you how to do marriage? Who who taught you how to regulate your emotions? Who taught you how to validate feelings? Who taught you how to do marriage? Right, exactly. I didn't hear anyone say anything. That's the same person that teaches everybody how to do marriage. Nobody. Most folk show up to adulthood not even knowing how to run their own life, let alone how to connect with someone else and help them run theirs. Or be joined, not to help them run theirs, but be joined in a whole relationship where I have to give of myself. How I'm going to give of myself when I don't even know myself? Folk be getting married and it's not even time to get married yet. Like, you didn't even know that, did you? Just because you turn 18 and you're an adult does not mean that you are equipped to do everything that every other adult on the planet can do. Now, you know that in other areas, like at 18, some stuff I still can't do because I'm still young. But then, because there's no law against it, you think 18, 19, 20, 28, 20, I mean, 18, 19, 20, those early ages, you're ready for marriage. I know folk get married at that age. And, but most folk are not ready because most parents don't know how to prepare their children to be ready. One of the things, listening to Dr. Golden again, he he may be the exception. He may be the exception on a whole lot of stuff. Like, he's an amazing man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, he's an amazing guy with an amazing gift. But I've heard him talk about parenting, talking about his children. Now, he may have raised his children to, you know, for marriage, for relationships, because if you can't do relationships well, you cannot do life well. That's it. That's all. That, like, you can't. Not you won't. You cannot. It's not possible. God designed it that way. Have you ever thought about this? Let me just share this with you. The God of the universe created all of creation, right? And he created everything, said everything was good until he got to man. Everything that he created, he spoke it into existence. But with man, he got his hands dirty, right? But it was when he created man, it was the first time he said something was not good. But have you ever thought about this? Can you imagine the God of the universe who can do anything, knows everything, everywhere at the same time, right? That person makes something. He's perfect, right? I'm talking about God. He makes something, and then he looks at it and say, "Oh, that's not good." Like, if I'm in my wood shop, well, my old wood shop, I'll tell you about that later. I know that probably just shocked some of y'all, huh? Because I hadn't told y'all about the transformation. We'll talk about it later, because I'm always talking about my wood shop, right? Anyway, if I'm in the wood shop and I'm making something, and let's say I got my router and I'm making a groove, and then it kind of jerks and go up, I'm like, "Oh, dang, that's not good." That's just how it played in my mind. Now, I know God didn't make a mistake. He didn't say, that's not good because he made a mistake. But what I'm saying is, how significant must that not good be for God to say that? Like, I created this. It's good. He said, no, 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 no. I created this, but it's not good. But watch this. The one who created it, or him, Adam, the one who created, I'm going to say it because it works better. The one who created it is the one who also said it ain't good, which means he created it not good. Why? So he then could make it good. But I believe he did that so he can show you and me what good looks like. What does it look like? Relationship. Relationship. The Bible says it's not good for man to be alone. Obviously, wasn't talking about physical aloneness. aloneness. He had all those animals, and he had God to talk to in the cool of the day all the time. So he was not alone. There must have been something else. The Bible says that there was no suitable mate for Adam. He had nobody for himself. And I believe that Adam didn't even, I believe, right? I don't have no proof. I believe Adam didn't even know that I don't believe that he knew that he had a need for someone else. I believe, I could be wrong, right? I'm not sharing any kind of theory. This is just what I believe. And I don't think it's anti-Bible, right? But I believe that our desire to be connected as humans was turned on not when God created Adam, but when God made Adam aware that you needed somebody. And from then on, I think that was because I think that was always God's plan, but I think he did it how he did it to show us how important relationships are. But he gave Adam a relationship. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that he created Adam with a problem, and then to solve the problem, so God built into Adam the answer to his problem. And so God put him to sleep, took the answer out, created the answer, then presented it to him. And then he said, now this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. But I skipped over the part where I wanted to tell you about Adam being made aware that he was alone. Because if you read the Bible, it says, it's not good that man be alone. The next thing God did was not create Eve. He gave him an assignment to name the animals. I believe he did that to make Adam aware. Hey, wait a minute. Everybody got a mate except me. Where's? Then God put him to sleep. And I believe that's where the awareness for the longing and the desire for connection was created. Now, I could be wrong. It could have been there from the beginning. But either or, we do relationships from the cradle to the grave. And if you cannot do relationships well, you can't do life well. And you cannot do relationships well if you cannot resolve conflict, because your marriage or your relationship does not go sideways because of what happens in the relationship. Even if one of you cheat, your marriage is not going sideways because somebody cheated. I know you don't believe that. No, the reason your marriage is going sideways is because of how you're handling the cheating or whatever the issue is. Or should I say how you're mishandling it? Okay? All right. So you guys be encouraged, be blessed, and I will talk to you next time. That was good. I like that.